So, hey nurses, I have a quick question for you. Do you think that buying a house is out of reach because of student loans or crazy shifts, or that you have to have 20% down payment? So, you're not alone. A lot of nurses assume that home ownership is harder for them than for others, but I actually have really good news. There are some real options out there, some designed just for nurses that can make home buying way easier than you think. So today I'm going to walk you through a few loan programs and resources that maybe you've never even heard of, all designed to help nurses like you become a homeowner. So no sales pitch, just the facts. So let's jump in. So why do these programs for nurses even exist? Really, it comes down to this. Nurses are essential, and typically they have steady income, and so they're a lower risk for lenders. And so because of this, there are nonprofits, government programs, and even some private lenders that have created assistance programs, discounts, or maybe even flexible mortgage options. But here's the key. They aren't special to nurses per se. Okay, there's a couple programs out there that are for heroes, and nurses count as a hero. And so I'm going to talk to you about those. But specifically what I mean by that is it's not a nurse loan. You still have to qualify for the mortgage. And then these are things we get to layer on, kind of like, think of it like a coupon, really. So, but they can make a huge difference for you. So I'll walk through some of the main ones with you. First, there's the Nurse Next Door. This is a national program made for nurses and healthcare pros. It's not a mortgage, but instead it connects you to grants and down payment assistance and lenders who understand your unique income type and scenarios. So some grants are several thousands of dollars, which is amazing. They do depend on your location and how much of the funds are available, and you still have to qualify for the mortgage. So that's super important to keep in mind. This is best for first-time homebuyers or nurses who need upfront costs. So the next program that I really love is called Homes for Heroes. And this program helps save money at the closing table. So we're talking about rebates or reduced fees. So think of it like coupons almost. The real estate agent is signed up for this program, or the mortgage professional, and they give you credits to use. They give you money to use towards the closing costs. It can't help with the down payment, but it can help reduce the closing costs for the loan. And sometimes title companies may have discounts as well. Super important to remember, you still have to qualify for the mortgage itself, but the Homes for Heroes will help lower your closing costs. And typically closing costs, I would say, depending on the area you're buying in, are around $12,000 to $15,000. So, I mean, really any penny counts, I think. So let's just talk about the different types of loans there are. So first, there's conventional loans. These are like standard loans that most banks, credit unions, mortgage brokers can offer you. So maybe conventional feels out of reach, but I want you to remember this. First-time home buyers can put down as little as 3%. So that's huge. First-time home buyers only. And so if you have purchased a house before and you want to buy a second home, you're going to sell that first one, move into the second one, you're going to need 5%. But in the first time, you only need 3%. So that's a big deal. There's no upfront mortgage insurance premium required like there are with other loans. So that's awesome. And then typically there's better terms with a conventional loan. So nurses often qualify for these because you have a steady job and strong earning potential. Let's see. Typically, a credit score for a conventional loan needs to be 620 or higher. So let's talk about FHA loans next. So these are government programs, and they're built for buyers, usually buyers that have lower credit or have a smaller down payment. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're buying your second house, whatever, you can do as little as 3.5% down. But there is a mortgage insurance premium that gets collected at the beginning. Now, that premium can get rolled into your loan. So that's not an extra fee that you have to come up with, but I do think it's important to acknowledge and bring up. So FHA loans are great especially if you're early in your career, you're still building your credit, you're short on cash. They do have a little bit more flexibility in the debt to income. And so I think that's important, especially if you have high student loans. FHA may be the way to go. So just as kind of a side note, if you happen to be a nurse and a veteran, even better. So if you want a VA loan, you of course have to be a veteran. It's for active duty military eligible spouses. If that's you, like, VA loans are awesome. There's 0% down payments. No mortgage insurance is required. There's lower interest rates. So all of this can save you hundreds of dollars a month. It's not a nurses program specifically, but I wanted to bring it up because I know a lot of nurses that are also veterans. So I think that's really important. Let's talk about grants and assistance for a minute. Grants are free money and they will help with your down payment. These programs do exist, but they're not guaranteed. Most of them are based on where you live, what your income is, whether you're a first-time home buyer or not. And yes, some are nurse specific. Sometimes our income over qualifies. So I think that's really important to just keep in mind. They change often and sometimes they run out. So it's always good to check with the lender that you're talking to or a housing counselor to see if there's any that are active near you and are available. So how do you know which one is right for you? Here's a quick checklist, okay? So you've got great credit and some savings. That's a conventional loan, okay? Low savings or lower credit, that's great for FHA. If you're in the military, a VA is awesome. If you need help at closing, Homes for Heroes is a really great way to go. And you can actually go to their website and you can find real estate agents and mortgage lenders who are signed up for that Homes for Heroes program. If you want grant money, go to the Nurse Next Door. And if you happen to be like in a small town, you might qualify for a loan that's called USDA, and that is 100% financing. It depends what part of the country you're in. There's a lot that goes into that one specifically, but that always could be an option. So ask your loan officer about that. So the best option doesn't come down to your job title. It really just comes down to your full financial picture because you do have to qualify for the loans themselves. So nurses, you've got more options than you think, and now it's time to take the next step. So talk to a lender who understands working with nurses. Your income is really funny sometimes with all that overtime and differentials and all that stuff. Ask about programs in your area. Ask your lender if they have any down payment assistance programs in general, if any of them work for nurses specifically, and then compare loan types based off of your situation. It's very, very customized. There's not a one size fits all. So if this video helped you, hit that like button, drop your questions in the comments, and subscribe if you want some more real helpful info like this every week. Okay, nurses, you've got this.